Welcome to the final part of Pokemon Yellow, and we've got a fair bit to get through here. The first of which being this really fucking confusing placement of statues that you can end up walking into the wrong one and getting yourself stuck.
I never understood that. It just, as soon as I came across that, I was like, why? It's
that
not
is
even
it.
difficult.
Isn't it? It's why.
Someone just got bored and placed them everywhere.
This is what the Pokemon League does with their funding.
It looks
just annoy him a little bit.
Yeah.
So it makes me think of like playing a crap level on Mario Maker. Everything's just scattered everywhere for no reason.
Yeah.
Except just to piss you off because difficulty.
Right, we'll probably have a lot to talk about when the battles come in because we see some of the strongest Pokemon in the game that we'll be fighting against. But in terms of Pokemon Yellow and Gen 1 as a whole, let's just briefly talk about like our overall thoughts of the game. So, Chris, what do you think of Gen 1 as a whole, mate?
I feel like I like the fact that the games are more refined now. But yeah, it's pretty good. I say. Yeah, I don't know what do you make of Stephen?
It will always have a special place for me. I love the original games. I always have a soft spot for them. But playing through Yellow again, while I have enjoyed it, there have been so many problems with it. You can say the originals are the best because they're the originals or whatever, but it's just wrong to say that. They're not. They are terrible in comparison to the more recent ones.
I think what resonates most with me for Gen 1, it's not obviously the technical side of it, it's not just the designs and the familiarity. I think it's the simplicity of just the game structure themselves, because this is Pokemon at its most bare bones, and I think that if someone were to start getting into Pokemon now, even though this is a very archaic game, this is probably a good way to get a feel for what it is, and it also makes you appreciate the refinements later on.
Absolutely, because it's like, even though it is terrible in comparison to the newer ones, you can still play this just fine because it's so similar.
Yeah, I like that it's on the Virtual Console now on the 3DS, because like, granted, I don't play games on handhelds that much, but that makes it so much more accessible, because like the 3DS did really well. And a lot of people have them. A lot of people who maybe would have got back into Pokemon through Pokemon Go and that. And to make the original games accessible again, that's a smart move. It's Nintendo doing something smart. For once.
Plus you can trade them all from Red and Blue and that to Sun and Moon.
Yeah, which we did talk about that in an earlier part, and there's a very, like, through that you can just go through Pokebank. If you're trying to get it from Ruby and Sapphire, it's convoluted as fuck, but you know. Overall, like, we've been doing a lot of this, favourite that. I think it's safe to say for favourite Gen 1 Pokemon, we'd probably all go with Charizard, wouldn't we?
Yes.
Chris, any?
Maybe Gengar.
Maybe Gengar. That's a fair second in my eyes. For me, I'd say my favourite Gen 1 Pokemon, Charizard and Dragonite. Because sweet cinnamon baby Jesus.
Yeah. Dragonite's definitely up there as well.
Dragonite is not Jinx. No way in hell is it Jinx. I don't think we've even talked about the Jinx controversy, have we, in this playthrough?
Oh, is it?
No.
It's not being recoloured though, is it?
Not here, obviously. I'm just playing the original release, but in more recent games and the anime and shit, Jinx's face being recoloured to purple so it looks less of an offensive stereotype. I don't know what was going through their minds when designing Jinx originally, because that looks like a fucking golly. I'm sorry, it just does. Like, not to try and high horse anything, and I don't think intent was meant, but it seems more like an irresponsible design rather than a...
I think it was based on some sort of like fashion statement out in Japan. I don't know what it's called. It's sort of like... The only way I could describe it from what I've seen of images of it, because I've watched like videos of like YouTubers describing what it is, the reasoning behind Jinx's design. And the only way I could describe it is that the people look like they've got heavy tanning on them.
Oh, like, I suppose if it is a cultural thing, then that's fair enough, and it's just me got edging, looking for stuff to bitch about, which, you know, we as Westerners do far too much.
Yeah. But with the re-release on the 3DS, they did recolour Jinx.
They probably kind of felt they had to,
They
admittedly.
did recolour it to purple for this reason.
Is this the sort of thing, like, yeah, I'm saying it seems like irresponsible to have designed it like that. I still also think the, reaction to it was, like, a bit overplayed as well. It's like one of these things of, like, you know, it's sorted now, but still.
To be fair, purple looks alright on. In fact, I'd say it looks better purple than it did its original.
Yeah, it kind of emphasises the, like, facial features in a less crude way, doesn't it?
It's like going full on just jet black, it doesn't work.
It made the facial features look a bit overplayed, really, didn't it? But yeah, either way, we're rambling, and yeah. The first person we beat was Lorelei, I think you pronounced her name.
Yeah.
She actually has a little subplot in Fire and Leaf Green where you go to see her, like, childhood home, where she's got all the dolls and that, which is weird. Like, I guess they're trying to subvert her character expectations and Elite Four member and that. But here it's just bare bones. The Elite Four are kind of bosses out of nowhere, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Although Bruno here, he's the one who keeps his role in Gen 2 as well, although I think he gets promoted to third member. But yeah, he uses, like, fighting and rock types mainly. Like, I think he's meant to be a fighting specialist, but they sort of run out of fighting types, so they gave him some Onyxes.
So in Black and White onwards, they changed how you battled the Elite Four. You could then choose whatever order you wanted to battle them in.
Yeah, which I think that's a cool idea. It doesn't really make a difference because you've got to fight them all anyway.
Yeah, but with the original way they battled them, they did get progressively stronger. And personally, I like that more than being able to choose.
I guess there is still the whole, like, you got the Elite Four members and then the champion is the jump above that. But I see where you're coming from there.
It's like, yeah, you get to pick, but at the end of the day, you're still going to end up battling all of them anyway, because you have to. So why does it matter that I get to pick?
What's your favourite Pokemon League to fight?
That's a difficult one.
For me, I don't really have a preference. Like, I remember the Black and White ones being kind of annoying, but other than that, like, they're alright. Like, Gen 3 and Gen 1 are the ones I remember most because they're the generations that I've got ingrained in my head, and Gen 2 obviously, but I didn't really mention that one because that is like the Indigo League again.
Like Black and White, they had matching themes in the rooms of the Elite Four, because like there was the ghost type one in Black and White. Her room was like this haunted library, and there was sort of that sort of theme carried out for each of them, and in X and Y. And they sort of carried that over into Omega Ruby, because even though they kept the original layout of progressing forwards, battling them in a certain order, I really enjoyed the way they did it in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
It looks cool aesthetically, the Pokemon League in that game.
Because you're walking along this really long bridge to each of them, and it gives it an atmosphere. Like, this is the big deal right here. You better be prepared.
Yeah. I think, without spoiling the champion, both of you, what do you think of the Gen 7 Pokemon League?
It was alright one. I've only played like 2 leagues really, so it was quite a good league, I thought.
I turned off my EXP share throughout the game, so I wanted it to be a challenge, so I quite enjoyed it.
I kind of was okay. I weren't really a fan of them being reused trainers though. Like, I kind of When I say like about the Elite Four coming out of nowhere, I don't mind that as battles. Like, I think it could be cool, like, you know, in Gen 4 where you get to meet one of the guys ahead of time. Like, I think it's Flint, the fire guy. That's okay, but I don't like the fact that these are guys we've fought before. I don't know. It's like, I know in the context of the story, if like it's the new Pokemon League and they want to bring in just whoever they can get to start with.
That is a good point though, because it's like you've already beat them. Like,
yeah, it's more a boss rush than anything, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
My only issue with the Elite Four in Gen 7 was the flying type one, because she's mentioned once as some sort of celebrity golfer in one of the hotels, and that's all you ever hear of her.
Well, I think there was like, there's theories that she was like originally meant to be like a trial captain or something, or like she was meant to be someone you encounter in the game, but that just never amounted to anything, so they used her design for an Elite Four member, which I'm okay with her being out of nowhere. She's like the one mysterious one, and that's fine. You know, I'm kind of a bit split on what I want from the Elite Four, if you can't tell.
Like, yeah, she could be mysterious, I guess, but she was the easiest for me.
Well, she's flying type though, won't she? Flying golf sounds... How does that work?
I guess she uses them if she hits the ball into the water. She's like, go grab it for me.
Yeah. No, just replace the golf ball with a Swablu.
Why a Swablu?
Because it's the most ball-shaped bird.
Fair enough.
It seems like the most golf ballish, but speaking of golf, have you seen that 100-foot robot golf game?
Yes.
I have that, I've barely played it, but I want it at some point, but it looks so stupid.
It looks hilarious.
But yeah, like I say, I am quite split on how the Elite Four, what I want from them. I suppose the Elite Four is one of the things that they are an arbitrary end-of-game feature, really, aren't they?
Yeah. It's like, I'd say that it's meant to be a test of everything you learned, but it's Pokemon. What is there to learn, really? It's like, yeah, there's stat differences, type differences. But at the end of the day, just throw out your Pokemon, spam some moves, especially when you're just playing the regular campaign in the game. Because if you're going online, that's when you really need to get your shit together.
Are you implying that actual skilled players might be more competent than half-assed AI?
Maybe.
Now, here is my favourite member of the Elite Four, for obvious reasons. He uses dragons. Lance is fucking badass, I'm sorry.
Even though he only uses one dragon type, I mean, granted, two, but they're from the same line.
Yeah, but still, like, dragon, when he's the dragon leader, that's more of a concept of dragon than, like, dragons as dragons.
He's the dragon user. He uses Gyarados. Why isn't Mega Gyarados a dragon type?
It should be, really. It got dark types in it.
Doesn't make sense.
No, it should be a fucking dragon. I'm sorry, they make Charizard dragon, make Gyarados dragon.
Yeah, give it a second Mega Evolution. I don't care.
I will say, I think Lance's Gen 2 team is one of my favourite Pokemon teams, because he's got Gyarados, Aerodactyl, Charizard, and 3 Dragonite.
Bit overkill, but...
No, it's not. You can't have too many Dragonites. Really, I will go in 6 Dragonite. Can you tell it's the last part, folks?
Yep. So why didn't he have a Kingdra? That's a dragon type.
Well, Claire used the Kingdra as her main one, so they probably wanted to differentiate. And also, like, he's the Kanto leader, really. Kanto champion, and he's got all Gen 1 Pokemon. Although, admittedly, Gen 2 is very derivative of Gen 1, so like it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. Either way, like a lot of the gym leaders just use Kanto Pokemon. Because we're not using Aerodactyl, that was way too powerful for an Aerodactyl's fucking fly.
Hit, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a crit. But anyway, I still have fucking Surf, and he's nearly dead.
I love the fact that Aerodactyl was the reason for Ash's Charmeleon to evolve.
Yeah, we have briefly gone over that, but like, just the chase sequence was hype as fuck.
Like, oh, you've come to save me, Fire Blast. Oh.
I'm having a bit more trouble with this Aerodactyl than I probably should, and now he's used a fucking Hyper Potion.
So cheap.
I suppose at least if I burn him out of his items here, then you won't have him for the Dragonite.
Because they only have a select number of potions they can use.
Mm.
It's like in black and white they could use 2, and then the champion used 4.
Yeah, I think it's depending on each individual trainer. Like,
Yeah.
in the same way that they preset the Pokemon and their attacks, they also preset what items they have to hand.
Could you imagine if the early root trainers had hyper potions?
Yeah.
It's such a waste.
Youngster Joey used a Hyper Potion. Well, that Rattata's gonna be well again. But yes, Dragonite, I love this Pokemon so much. Shame about the 4 times weakness to ice, but still.
Yep.
But I just love its pose there. It sort of reminds me of, the Delivery Dragonite from the first film.
I got stopped by a frying pan.
I use my trusty frying pan as a drying pan. That's from the special, isn't
Yep,
it?
the Mewtwo one.
I love that. That's become like a reaction image just for a bad pun now.
Even though Dragonite does have that 4 times weakness, it has... I think I probably mentioned this before, but it has its hidden ability Multiscale, which reduces the damage of the first move to hit it.
Oh, right.
So it could survive an ice move on first time.
Oh, that's something, I guess.
Pretty useful.
Now I need to heal up because there's just one battle left before we can be the Pokemon League champion. And yeah, I think we all know who that is at this point. I'm not going to try and dance around spoiling a fucking 20-year-old game. Hi, Blue.
It's such a shock.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it was a bit of a twist the first time, weren't it, really? Although, like, that's solely because you wouldn't expect to have a champion the first time, would you? You would expect, like, you've been teased, there's the Elite Four, and you think, okay, well, I've got to beat these 4 guys to win. And, like, the first game I played, I think it might have been the first one I ever beaten. I can't remember, it's been a long time, but I remember just beating the Elite Four and thinking I'd be done. And then it's like, oh, but there's one more challenge. Fuck. I can only get my starter to mash away at it because I don't know how to train Pokemon for so long. Oh, come on. What was that? Let him be you, goddamn. But yeah, if you can't tell, I'm running out of things to say, so let's waffle. Stephen, what you got?
I was just about to say that while it's stupid that you've taught your Venusaur Cut, there is only one Pokemon that can learn Cut through levelling up.
Which is?
It's one of the Ultra Beasts.
What the fuck?
It's the origami one, Kartana.
I can't think what that one looks like.
It's difficult to describe other than saying it looks like folded up paper.
Oh, right. Is that the black one?
No, it's not like it's white with yellow strips on it.
I can't think of it.
It's like a sword, isn't it? Or a blade.
It's sort of got like sharp edges all over it. Its arms do kind of look like blades. But yeah, it's the only Pokemon to learn Cut. It's essentially its signature move.
Oh, God. Why? Imagine if that was a legendary.
Oh, God. Thank God they removed it as a HM because now it can forget it the moment it learns it.
That's got to be a thing, like, if they make Diamond and Pearl remakes, then they are quite heavily built around HMs. So, are they going to have to bring HMs back, or are they going to have to find another workaround?
They could just say that the idea of... what's the name of the system they use in Sun and Moon?
The red Pokemon.
Yeah, well, I thought there was a use, like the name of the thing. That
I can't remember off the top
well,
of my
they'll
head.
probably just say that they brought over the device from Alola and bringing it into the system.
Oh, but I want to spend one of my Pokemon's move slots learning Defog.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't want to Bidoof on my team. I don't want to Barrel.
But that means those Pokemon have no purpose anymore.
Exactly. Could you imagine if it got a Mega Evolution and became useful?
Oh, God. I suppose it could be a tank, couldn't it?
Could.
I think its defense is alright, aren't they?
Don't know. I think it's just sort of meh all round. There's no point in using it.
Well, it's a HM slave, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can surf on the thing, it can cut things. I think it can use Rock Smash. I don't think it can use Defog, unfortunately.
That
Which would be... Imagine, like, Bibaro just waving his arms around to clear the fog.
the thing is, though, you knock defog, but it is useful in the competitive scene.
How?
It gets rid of entry hazards.
Oh, right. Oh, that's alright.
So does rapid spin.
Well, that's probably better because it actually does shit beyond that.
Yeah, but defog also decreases the chance of the enemy dodging an attack.
Yeah, raises your evasion. I suppose that's a way to sort of know the double team, guys.
Plus, because flying types learn it, and you'll generally want a flying type to avoid spikes and poison spikes and sticky web.
Yeah, I guess. Like, defog, is that still something? Is that something that Pokemon can learn naturally?
I don't think so.
Ah.
Probably, but I don't recall any Pokemon that I've ever used to learn it naturally.
Because I'm trying to think, like, does that mean, like, what Pokemon, like, from 5, 6 and 7 can actually learn that? Because, like, it was a HM in Gen 4, because Gen 4 had bad ideas. But, you know... I don't know, I'm trying to ponder where the fate of Defog went. But yeah, I think most useless HM moves is probably Rock Smash outside of Defog, isn't it? It's chip damage at best.
Yeah. I mean, I think it lowers the defense of the opponent. So, well, you have that chance.
Oh, right. What's the attack stat?
40, I think.
Fuck, why even bother?
It's like one move in Gen 1, Leech Life. It's weak, isn't it? 20 damage.
Yeah.
Sun and Moon, 80.
Well, that got buffed a bit.
Yeah, I think the main reason is probably because Golisopod can learn it.
Oh, I like Golisopod.
Golisopod is awesome.
Like, his one, I like his first impression. That's a good move.
Fantastic.
I like how relatively underleveled I am, given he's got Pokemon touching 60 and I'm under 50. But that's, again, the power of having the right type matchups, really, isn't it? But, ladies and gentlemen, I am now champion of the Kanto region. Let's go stand on a mountain for a while.
Yep, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I could bask in the glory.
And replace one of your Pokemon with Lapras. Or an Espeon.
Yeah. Now, are we ready for the best line in the game? It's coming up. Yeah.
I know what you're waiting for.
You know exactly what I'm waiting for. I came when you heard it. Because I think info and leaf green, that all fits on one line, and there's just the out of context screenshots of it.
So the thing is, though, if you lost to Blue, Oak never comes, so that means he was just waiting for Blue to lose this entire time. He's like, go on, you're going to fucking lose, you little shit.
I'm looking forward to being disappointed by you.
Come on, Rich, you can beat him this time. Look, I've even got rare candies here for you. Just dethrone that bastard.
Take my fucking rifle.
They're in mid-battle, Blue's about to win, and there's Oak in the background with a sniper rifle. Just kneecaps his Jolteon or whatever. Oh god, Jolteon! Yes, now hit it. Red, hit it!
So, here's my final team. Got the Venusaur, Blastoise. So, that's my grass and water types covered. Now, what's next? We have Charizard, best girl.
What?
He's Pokemon best girl, come on.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Nidoqueen, who just wants a hug.
Yay, I won!
Nidoqueen wants a cuddle. Pikachu, the starter, my electric coverage.
I did nothing!
I was only level 45 at the end. And Articuno, who showed up at the end and was suddenly useful.
I'm too good for these peasants.
So I've got to ask Stephen, as someone who actually understands competitive or just understands the metagame as a whole, critique my team.
On a whole, yes. it's not that bad. Get rid of the Pikachu and you got something that's okay, I'd say.
What could I replace it with from Gen 1?
I'd go with... try and get a ground type in there, probably. I mean, I understand the competitive scene a bit, but it doesn't mean I'm good at suggesting what would be useful.
Alright.
But I would recommend at least a strong Pokemon that can use a ground move. Because Earthquake is a wonderful move.
And I would... although I've got Nidoqueen, haven't I?
Oh yeah, that's true actually. Forget what I said. Because Nidoqueen can learn quite a wealth of moves, and I think they generally give it a few special type moves, which is odd, but...
what ice type would you suggest to replace the Articuno so I'm not being such a cheap little shit?
I think on that, Mamoswine? I mean, granted, that's a ground
Go
type.
with Gen 1.
Gen 1.
That's probably just Dewgong, right?
Yeah, Lapras actually.
Lapras could be good.
Definitely Lapras.
Yeah, we have just one more thing to do, and from where I'm surfing to, you two can probably see who I'm going for.
Yeah.
The Pokemon in this cave are in their 60s, all the wild encounters. The Pokemon we're heading for, I believe he's level 70.
And you'll find quite a few of certain Pokemon that many people theorise to be related to the legendary.
Like... you're talking like the Ditto?
Yep.
Yeah. You might notice what I'm doing here is I'll be doing some weird step behaviour, like stopping and starting. I'm doing that to reduce the number of wild encounters. I'm showing off a few just to give some perspective. Like, you know, this late in the game, you really need a level 57 Golbat. That's really going to help you out, isn't it?
So I don't know if I said about Golbat already, but in Sun and Moon, its Pokedex entry is that it will drink so much blood that it will become engorged that it can't that it can't fly. And then, because it can't fly, it becomes prey for other Golbat and Zubat and will be killed.
So these things are like cannibalistic.
Yeah, this thing will fatten itself up on blood, but if it does it too much, that will be the death of it.
Fucking hell.
Sun and Moon is brutal with some of its entries.
Oh my god, I can't see Golbat the same way, I'm sorry.
Just imagine a Golbat becoming so fat from so much blood that it ends up dying from being cannibalised.
Oh, poor fucker.
It brings it on itself.
It does, it's just because it's so stupid.
What are some of the other dark entries then?
I can't remember them off the top of my head, really. I'd need the Pokemon in front of me to remember it. I mean, X and Y's got a dark one with Phantump and Trevenant.
What's that
That's
say?
the tree.
Yeah, what's it say?
Phantump is possibly made from children that have died in the forest.
Lovely. That's got to be like... Is there like a Pokemon equivalent of Aokigahara or something?
What's that?
You know, the Japanese suicide forest?
I've never heard of that.
That's really interesting if you want to look it out. Like, it's really grim and depressing to think about, but there's this one forest, it's called Aokigahara, it's in Japan, and it's like got a record high number of suicides where people just go into the forest and never come out.
Oh god.
But like, it's like the most popular suicide spot next to, I think, one of the big bridges in America, but
wow.
But like, that is really fucking dark. And I just think that when you say like a tree that, you know, it takes the souls of dead children and things, that kind of, I feel it might have a bit of a slight allusion to that.
Probably, but it's the fact that the children have died in the forest and their soul has possessed a tree stump.
Well,
that's one way to come back from the dead.
Yeah, you come back as a tree. I'd rather be a Gengar.
It's like, I remember seeing a little comic strip combining Bennett and Phantump. It's like Bennett is made from the grudge of being a doll that was abandoned by a child. What if the Bennett found its child, but that child died in the forest and became a Phantump? How depressing.
Not much further. I believe this cave in Fire and Leaf Green was referred to as Cerulean Cave, but originally here I think it's just called the Unknown Dungeon, which for a mysterious endgame dungeon, it's a good name for it, because it doesn't need a name, does it? It's just this dungeon that's just here. And like the game doesn't really give you any hint that it exists unless you go out of your way to surf earlier in the game and there's someone blocking it.
Or if you just happen to see it as you were walking into Cerulean.
Yeah, but you do that when you're walking to Cerulean. You don't really go back to Cerulean, so it's
Yeah.
the sort of thing you're not going to think of. But yeah, it's quite a difficult area to navigate. Because the Pokemon are so high level, they probably out-level yours, and so repels aren't really that much use here. So it is a case of plough on through. Maybe if you're having trouble, then you will want to grind up much higher. I think if you've got Pokemon in your 70s, you should out-level everything that's going to pop up. And yeah, I am using repels anyway, just because I think it still sort of tones them down a little bit if they over-level you, don't they?
I think so, yeah. I love the fact that in the newer games, it asks you if you want to use a repel again when it runs out.
Well, that's a frustration-free feature, which I'm glad about.
It was Black and White that brought it, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was 2. I think it was Black and White 2.
Probably.
But now to get my team ready for the final battle of Pokemon Yellow version. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mewtwo. So, Chris, what do you think of Mewtwo?
He's one of the best legendaries, isn't he? Just like the original, you know, it's just brilliant legendaries. Yeah, I'll say he's up there as Rayquaza for me. It's like one of the coolest, like, ones.
Stephen.
It's the original strongest Pokemon. I love it.
He was. He's a bitch to a Master Ball, but he's the strongest Pokemon.
Yeah.
I prefer its sprite in red and blue. It looked more imposing being hunched over.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
It looked bigger and more imposing.
But yeah, so I'll give my thoughts on Mewtwo to start with. Mewtwo, I like him as a secret rare in Pokemon Gen 1. I like him in the film. Like, I don't really like that film on the whole, but Mewtwo as a character, he's a really cool, intimidating character. He's got some good attacks. He's just generally impressive. I like the lore behind him. I think, you know, yeah, granted he has been trumped by legendaries more recently, but for this game and in the context of this game, he's a great final character. And as for Pokemon Yellow version, we briefly went over our thoughts, but have we got any final things to say on the game? First up, Chris.
Excellent game. You know, nice little additions like added in. Good game.
There's not much else I can really say about it other than if it is your first Pokemon game, or if you're giving it to someone like in a newer generation to play it, it's like it's not a bad way to start off with Pokemon. Is what I'm trying to say.
I'll echo that. Pokemon Yellow, I think it's maybe not my favourite game in the series. Like I have mentioned, I prefer Crystal and I prefer Gen 6, X and Y. But I think Pokemon Yellow does a lot of things right, and Gen 1 as a whole, to bring them into it. Because it's got a very simplistic structure. It's basically a good step, not just into Pokemon, but also into RPGs. And Yellow is probably the most accessible of Gen 1 for a newcomer because you get good Pokemon given to you. You get the Charizard, the Venusaur, the Blastoise. And I just think on the whole, you know, Pokemon Yellow is a great game. I'm glad we did this playthrough. I'm glad I've got the opportunity to replay it. And yeah, I love Pokemon. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's been the Pokemon Yellow playthrough. We're still deciding what we're going to cover next, which game to go to, but we'll see you then. So bye-bye for now.